What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Cartel. We have a very special live stream today. We're going to be doing a little bit different kind of stream, going through our meme coin hunting process, finding 10x's, 50x's, 100x's live here. We're going to show you the whole process of from start to finish, how we find the tickers, how we do diligence and research on them, and then how to execute on actually buying them and selling and flipping meme coins in the market. So, we had some crazy runners this past weekend with Dave Portnoy, his coin, Geostool, going to hundreds of millions. We had a literal African country launch a meme coin that went to 500 million. So the trenches are cooking, and we're going to show you guys, how we can catch some of these early. So with that, let's get started, Alex.
All right. Let me share my screen. Welcome, everyone. So let's see. There you go. All right. So before we get started, I do want to say this is not financial advice. Everything that we do is because we're degens, and so just keep that in mind. All right. Uh,
Educational purposes only.
it's just for educational purposes, correct? But what I want to show you guys today is a system that I was able to find out with a lot of trial and error, right? It did take me losing a couple of soul, but eventually you make it back once I started really understanding how to really do how to really buy in a strategic way with data, right? And so what we're going to do here is we're going to find the probability of the runners. It's not 100%, but it's going to give us a likelihood to find those that are going to run essentially. So I'm going to walk you through everything that I use in order for me to get these coins, right? And it varies. Everybody uses either GMGN, Photon, Radium, Jupe app, the Jupiter swap. And what I've come to find personally, the best places to really work with in terms of buying and selling, but also looking at data security, which is very important not to get rugged, right? Is this right? So there's both. Look at this one. There's GMGN and Photon, but let's look at Photon really quick. So one thing I really like about Photon is the fact that you could look at it in the minute, the seconds, the 30 seconds, right? And this is very important, especially for brand new coins, and they're moving very fast. So what I have found is that the fastest data that you get for price is Photon and GMGN. If you're using Dex Screener, you're not going to make it. Like, you're absolutely not going to make it. So I recommend you stay away from Dex Screener. Dex Tools is good, but it does lag sometimes or it freezes, so you can't really see the price action and you can get rugged. But what I do recommend is these two, right? Photon and GMGN, and I'll explain why. So one of the really cool things that GM or Photon has is the data and security, right? And I'm gonna tell you something right now. I do follow a few whales, some wallets, and I've seen these guys get rugged like $10,000, $15,000. And the reason why they're getting rugged is because they're not looking at this, right? They're not looking at the LP burn. They're not looking at the top 10 holders. They're not looking at these things. So to me, that's an indicator that says, all right, is the LP burn number one? If it's not burned, if it's zero, I'm not touching that. Like, I'm not. You can pay me.
So,
I'm not touching that. Go
Alex,
ahead.
sorry to interrupt. So
Yeah,
let's
go
just
for it.
zoom out here a bit. So
Mhm.
Photon it's a trading app, right? It's a trading wallet app that is what you're saying is it's giving us more real time data on what's actually happening with the market,
That's correct.
right?
Yeah. So that's what I said. So I went through.
So step one, you want to get Photon. Step one, like
Right.
let's assume you have a Phantom wallet, and then you hook up your Phantom to a Photon, right? And then you deposit Sol.
Yeah, that's right. And then
Now, yeah, and in the app, it has security data and security there on the right, on the
right,
bottom right,
exactly. Yep,
correct?
that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so
Now,
let's go through like if we know what these mean. LP burned.
So
I
that's
think it,
but
I'm
mhm.
not 100% sure what it means, but it's like they burned uh,
The liquidity pool that they
like
have.
the liquidity pool. So
Yeah,
why is that important?
it's
Because
important. Oh yeah,
if
go ahead.
it's not burnt, they can rug it. They can take all the money in the liquidity pool. The price goes to zero. There's no soul left. That thing's worthless, right? That's
Exactly.
number one.
That's number one. Number two is the top 10 holders. Now, this is very tricky, and I'll explain why. There are times, or first of all, my measurements for top 10 holders are anywhere between, obviously, below 29%, right? You see it's 25% here. So I personally like to have this below 29, 25, below that. Anything above that is a little bit sketchy, right? So why do they own that much, or why do the top 10 holders have that much supply? That's one. Two, sometimes you'll see where the top 10 holders, it says like 80% or like 70%. You do have to do quick research to find out if they have 80% for a reason or if they sent it to a wallet, right? Because there's a lot of these cases where uh, they do send it to someone and they posted on Twitter. They said, "All right, here's the at the wallet. We sent 80% of the supply." And to me, that's a great time because usually point.
I have a
Mhm,
I have a good example of this. Like
mhm.
the coin that launched this weekend, the Central African Republic car coin.
Yeah,
I bought it originally like around 200 mil, and then I sold it because I saw someone was like, "Oh, 80% of the supplies in this one wallet." Like, and I didn't do the research to see that there was like an allocation, right,
exactly.
for the country, the advisors, whatever, right. If I had done the research, I basically missed out on like a 3 or 4x because I thought supply was bundled and I sold it, and actually there was like a whole allocation for the whole for the token supply.
Yep. So let's look at it. Let's look at car, right? Uh, you see that there it top
There it is, yeah, 80%.
82%. And I can understand why that would throw you off in the beginning because it would probably throw me off. And it's happened before where I saw that and I was like, I'm not touching this again. I'm not buying. So that's all right. So just quick recap, right? So LP burned, make sure it's not zero. Then top 10 holders, understand that anywhere between 29, anything below 29% is something that you want to look for, right?
Would you say
Mhm.
like lower is better, or is there like a sweet spot where the cabal has a certain amount of the supply cornered,
So,
so like they could pump it more?
so
Because I don't think it's if they hold a lot, then they're also kind of controlling
right.
like price action
Well,
in a
that's the
way.
thing. When like I said, it's kind of difficult to tell. But I'm just giving you the probabilities of it not being a rug. I'm not saying it will be or it can't be.
Yeah.
I can't really do that, right? Because I really don't know. So what I'm trying to tell you is the probability of you not to get rugged, right? Because like I said, I've seen these like huge wallets that have like over $5 million that just get rugged because I see their buys and sells, and I look at the coin and I see the LP burned and it's zero. And then I see top holders and it's like some crazy number. And then this is the next one, right? It's the holders right here to the right. And what I like about Photon and GMGN is that they have the holders here. And sometimes you'll see some crazy things. You'll see like market caps at like 5 million market cap, but there's going to be like 700 holders. That literally makes no sense, right? And so I see some of these guys just buying these and losing 10 grand. Of course, they can afford to lose that because, they're degens and they have millions of dollars, right? But I would say those are the top three things to look at to not to get rugged, right? And you have that in Photon. Photon gives you that. GMGN does give you the holders right here. They also have a rug probability. And they have all these different things. So they also have the top 10, 36%, and they have a like a little index of the ratio of holders who's also blue. I don't know what that is, but they also have this information. I usually don't use GMGN just because I like the interface of Photon. It's simple. I can literally scroll down. I see three things, and I'm like, all right, this is good to go. Okay. Uh, One other thing I do want to mention is that if you're looking at a coin below 1 million market cap, and you have holders above 1,000 to 2,000, that's usually a good sign. So one of the coins that we did hit, what was it? Oh, it was what was it? Oh, it was small pep, right? And this is just as an example, okay? Where are you? There you are. All right. So as you can see here, this is I did buy, around here, and I hodled, right? What happened? The reason why I bought this one was because it was like 2 million. It was 2 million market cap, but there was about 3,000 holders, and it was crazy to see something like that, right? And then we came down here, and I just saw holders increase like 4,000, 5,000 holders here at around 500K market cap. And to me, that said something. I mean, why would people be increasing in holder count all the way down here? It means that they're loading up, right? And essentially, that told me that's reversal, right? And then that's what happened, right? It ripped and it ripped higher, and we put this out on the Telegram group earlier, but then it dumped and then it came back to live, right? So those are the three things I tell you to keep an eye on: is the LP burned, the top 10 holders, and then the holders here, right? So that's good indication if the coin's going to be successful or not. All right. Any questions, Henry? Any comments?
Yeah. No, so I'll just add. You're going a little bit out of order because this is like the security check, right? Like the number. So everything we're doing, we're increasing our probability of like hitting a runner and making money, right? So if you can reduce the probability of you getting rugged, just checking this on Photon, then your win rate's going to be a lot better in terms of like
Exactly.
profitability.
Yep.
Um, I think the only other thing I'll add is we're gonna get into exactly how to find the tickers pretty soon, and then make sure you stay to the end of the stream because we're actually gonna be doing this live with you guys and finding trying to find some runners and aping some meme coin runners using this method at the end. So make sure you stay till that.
All right. So now that I gave you the background on basically the tools that I use to buy, sell, and do a quick research, right? Because these coins run really fast when it has potential. The next thing, oh, also, and to avoid getting rugged. So the next thing we're going to look at is Acid Dash, right? And Acid Dash it has been the game changer for me, especially because I've been able to find 3x's, 5x's, 10x's, and 50x's. And I ended up doing ended up selling too early, but each trade for it, that was essentially like a 50x. Anyway, so when you go to Acid Dash, you literally only need to do two things, right? I don't know where the section is, but I think this is the
So this is swap.acid-dash.com.
.com.
So these guys are like a portfolio tracking app, like a swap. They're like an everything app for crypto. They're trying. That's what they're trying to become. But this is a feature that they have specifically for whale tracking, right? Like whales of different tokens,
Yeah. So what they're doing,
and it's free.
and it's free. What they're doing is they're pulling in all the data from all the whales that they found and they count it, right? They have all that whale information. And what I do is we track live this, they track live this data. And simply all I do in order for me to maximize gains to find a 5x, a 10x, whatever, right? I only filter by buys only, and then filter by market cap less than 10 million, right? I'll explain why not 1 million instead of 10 million, right? Because what happens is that you'll get a bunch of noise anything below 1 million. It could be rugs, it could be just random pump and dumps, it could be anything, right? But one of the neat things about what you're putting anything below 10 million, what you can do is you could actually start seeing when whales are buying and how the market cap is increasing, right? And so, for example, this one, no, hold on. Let's go find one here. Yeah, for example, Jeet, right? So Jeet right now is at 1 million market cap in 4 minutes, and I'll show you this. So we're gonna look at it right now. So this guy bought 4 minutes ago at 342K market cap, right? Then at 385, and then guess what? 383, And guess what? Look at that. And right now it's at 1.2 million market cap. So let's take a quick look at it. I just want to see it.
So already that would have been like a 3-4x
Exactly.
just off that notification.
And that's what you want to do. You want to find where the volume of whales are, right? You want to find the volume of where all these different whales are aping into. My standard is anywhere between 3 to 6. I automatically look at that. Sometimes, like if you see an interesting name, you should probably look into it. It may be a new meta. It could be something different, right? But look, now it hit already 2 million market cap, and that was 4 minutes ago. 4 minutes ago.
Damn. So
You
fast.
see, and this is the whole thing. Like you have to stay locked in. You can't, if you see something consistently, it's got to be a quick analysis. Why? So here, let me copy this. So I'll just show you this as an example, and then we'll move on. Okay. It is looking interesting. 7 minutes ago, and it's already at 2 million market cap, 3 million market cap now. Geez.
It just launched 7 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
well, like 10, 15 minutes ago. But dude, my computer's being so slow. Yeah, 7 minutes ago. Another thing, if your laptop or your computer is not fast, you're not gonna make money. I'll just start out there. Henry knows because you wanna tell him, Henry?
I mean, I don't know what you're referring to, but my computer, it lags and it's costing me a lot of money.
That's the point, exactly. So even for me, like I have a good computer, but if I have a lot of things opened, it lags a little bit. So I have to restart it again.
Yeah, man, close out of the Pornhub so we can see this thing.
No, dude, what do you mean? I do both. All right.
Multitask.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not loading. Damn it. But anyway, pull back from 3 million to 2 million market cap. And what we want to see is this. All right, so LP burn 100%, top holders 15, about 3,500 holders. It's a healthy coin, right? Then quickly, like as you're
There's no red flags there, and like data security, there's no red flags. Like we did the check that you
yeah.
mentioned in the beginning.
I
We found it. So like just to go through the whole process, we're monitoring acid dash. We've seen multiple whales ape now. Then we check security. Security looks good. Uh, and then at this point, are you aping like before looking into it more,
so
or are you doing more
so
research
yeah,
here?
so essentially your process can be different, anybody else's can be different, right? But it's got to be a quick thing, right? So usually I'll just do some TA. I'll be like, all right, like let's look at this. I'll do support and resistance, and I'll get into that in a second. So let's just give me a second, all right? And then anyway, so I'm just trying to stop loading, dude.
You want me to take over while maybe you close some stuff out, and then
It's
I
already
can
rugging.
do some quick
Yeah,
TA.
it's already rugging. There it is.
It's already
Yeah.
running.
So here's the catch. Like it's well, let's stop for a second. All right, we're in a market where we're flipping. We're not in a market
Yeah.
where we're holding and we're letting things ride. So just understand that this whole process is to do a 1x, a 2x, a 3x, but remember to always raise your stop losses, right? You don't want to round trip, you don't want to lose money, you don't want to do any of those things. Okay? So here we have it up. So essentially, great. Um, when you have this up, there's a few things you could do. Personally, for me, I do some quick TA, right? I look at the coin, I understand the support and resistance. And support and resistance is crucial for you to be able to make money, right? To understand some basic TA, flags, cup and handles, all these different things, they're gonna give you better entries, right? So if you don't know TA, I I really really think that you really need to at least like know the basics. All right, I'll leave you with that. But essentially, I'll look at the TA quick, right? What I'll do is I'll click on these. I'll do right click, tab, new open, and then I'll do the TA while this is opening up, right? And then I'll quickly just go on the.
What is that? What is that? You're searching on Twitter?
No,
You're
no, no.
searching the
So you see
ticker,
to the right,
or
yeah. See, it's a G. It's a literal G. Look at that. It dumped. Uh,
it was in the name?
yeah,
Should have
exactly. And then
known.
when you go to the website, it's sir, I sold right before it 10x. So that's their website. All right. And so you can easily click on their links here, and that gives you quick access, right, to that specific
Yeah.
coin. All right. So then,
Well, let's sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So now I want to give you like a real life example of what happened today. All right. But before we move there, let's go back to Acid Dash, right? Essentially, there it is. So you see all these G, you see all these people buying G. They bought G. Look at that, and that speaks volumes. Like people are aping in 600, 600, 1,000, 3,000. And they probably all got rugged.
And that was like after the first guy that got in at 400K, 300K.
Exactly. Yeah. And right now, there's still more people buying. Like this dude just bought less than a minute ago, $600, right? Uh, Again, this is going to be the game changer for everybody. If you are looking at this and you see that there is momentum on a specific coin, pick up on that, right? Look it up, go research, go understand why it's a narrative, why it's being pumped. Uh, there are various reasons, and you could, like I said, you look, gay stool. They about $1,000,
So,
but essentially,
Casey.
what you could do is you could just do that, right? Do quick research like I showed you, go click right away on the on the Twitter and the website. Go back, do some simple TA and understand an entry, right? Where you can do an entry. Support resistance is all I can say to you, and then also understand cup and handles and all those different things. And if you want to do more in-depth research, right, then just do the $ and type in G, right? And you're going to get more information on two things: the top people that are talking about it, which means people that have a lot of followers, and then you can also filter by latest, who's talking about within a minute, two, three. And sometimes you'll see coins get like rugged really fast because this is where the news comes out, and this is why people G, right? They'll see something, they'll see bad news,
That's
they'll
where the
say
FUD
it's
comes out too.
they'll see exactly. They'll say it's bundled here, and if you don't pick up on it quick, and then you go back here, it just dumps, right? So it's when you're buying one coin, you have to be locked in terms of price, in terms of what the tweets are, and what the narrative is. And usually you can find the narrative by just typing this. Okay. Yeah, my Twitter's not working, but essentially that's what you type in, and that's what Acid Dash gives you. Do you want to add anything?
No, so I think like from a high level, this is like the high level process, right? Like the finding the ticker, checking whether it's ruggable, doing TA for the entry. I think like we're gonna eventually do some streams and some videos on more advanced methods or advanced strategies, but this is high level what we found because your other option is you just go on Dex Screener and or on Twitter and you're hoping to find a ticker and you don't know what if it's already been rugged or this is like to be more efficient with your time. Just look at what whales are aping because they're whales for a reason, right? They know what they're doing. They're aping early for a reason. And if you see something catching traction, then you've already narrowed down like this whole universe of a million pump fund coins to just what's hot at that current moment. Um,
Now, I do want to.
Now I did. There's some stuff I wanted to touch on,
Yeah,
but I wasn't sure
I'm not.
if you
I
had
have, I
gone
have, I have
through
one more thing
the
to talk
whole
about.
process.
Yeah. So so I talked about TA, I talked about research, and the last thing I want to talk about is the psychology about this, okay? Because there's and I'm speaking from experience because there's been a lot of times where I bought something early and then it was rugging and then I sold. And then I come to find that it rips to 30 million, 40 million when I found it at like 1.5 million market cap, right? And so those three things come in hand, and you have to find a really good balance on that. So, and I'll get and today this is the perfect example, and I do want to talk about this because it to me it was very useful. Um, and I'll be very sincere with you guys, and I'll show you my. Essentially, I bought around 2 million. I bought like $20, $30. and then ended up selling down at 1.2 million. I was like, nah, dude, like this is rugging. So what I ended up doing is waiting. I ended up waiting to see what was going to happen to price action. I'll explain why. It's because there were so many whales aping into this coin, and the count holder was increasing to it was like 5,000 around below like 1 million market cap. To me, that's extremely bullish in general, right? What the hell happened here? You know what? Let's take this to the deck screener.
Yeah, I think one key piece I think you're kind of describing right now is like the momentum of something, right? And we're gonna go through some examples in a bit of things that catch momentum. And what you're looking for is momentum of volume, holder growth, just something about that coin is attracting a lot of momentum from the market.
Yeah.
And that's like at the end of the day, this is a momentum game. That's what you want to ride.
So exactly. But this is where TA comes in play, and this is where the psychology is also going to come in play because what happens is, let's just say, for example, I missed this trade, right? And I got in here, and then eventually I find out that it hits. This thing went up to like 20 million, I think, right? No, it went to 16 million market cap. Okay, so I ended up buying like around 2 million market cap around here. I ended up selling around here 1.4. And then I saw this one go down and I saw this respecting, like this was respecting a trend, right? Touch, 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 touch. And then here, same thing. 1, 2, 3. And as you see, my yellow lines, they're support and resistance, right? So I had this already right here beforehand, and that's exactly where it bounced. It got rejected, and it came down to this last one. But here's where I was thinking, okay, like it could explode from here, or it could just die from here, and that's when you have to really think about what you're willing to lose. And so here I ended up aping like $50, right? And where I'm going with this about the psychology is like if you end up missing one, like and it rips to 16 mil, and you're like, oh crap. What happens is next time you find another coin, you're gonna be mentally strained, or you're gonna be feeling like, damn it,
Tilted
I missed it.
basically.
I gotta thank you, tilted. You're gonna be feeling tilted.
Yeah.
And to avoid that, there's got to be a good balance of mental stability, right? And I'm telling you this from experience. You need to find a sweet spot where you're not going to beat yourself up because you missed one. The whole point of this game is that you're gonna find at least 5, 6, 7 per day. Caveat this: when we're in a bull run, when it's bearish and we're dumping, you're not gonna find that many. So it's better to just not trade, right? And so what happened here is I ended up just being patient. I waited, and then I saw this reversal, saw the bullish divergence, and I started seeing this trend moving up. And I ended up buying here at 9 million market cap, 900K market cap. Rode it up, came back down, and I was like, okay, it's not going below my price. And then here's when we started making higher highs, right? Higher high, higher high, higher high. Support and resistance, you have support there. And then that's where I started to say, okay, this looks like it's going to run. Look at that. TA will tell you everything. It was respecting trend from down here, right? One touch, 2, 3, 4, and guess what? We're off, right? We're off. Look at that. And it just continues. So to say there's three things that you need to be successful in this, and it's to do your research, to do good TA, and to have good psychology balance, right? I think if you have those three, you can nail it. I think you can find 1x, 10x, 20x. You'll be good to go because you'll understand when to cut off your losses. You'll know when to ape, and you'll understand the research and the TA. So it's a good bonus.